Hey everyone, today we're going to be covering this pre-birth memory or pre-birth experience video, and there's a little bonus in here that she gets into a little bit before. I haven't even watched the pre-birth part. I stopped it after what she was saying that was interesting, and I think this will be worth it to cover and analyze. So this is protected by fair use. It's for educational purposes only. This is not for profit. There's no money, no profit involved in me doing this. I'm just doing my analysis, narration, and sharing it for free. So let's get into this one and let's roll.
Hello, subscribers. Hello, friends. Hello, strangers. Apparently, I'm going to do this. Uh, I've had a few people recently in the past couple weeks ask me why haven't I put out any new videos lately. And actually, I got rid of or deleted a lot of videos that I had before, or else I made them private. It's because I'm sensitive, you know. People say really bad things, and I'm not like a professional video editor or anything. As you'll see, I'm just gonna record this whole thing in one shoot and
Okay, just jumping in here. People do say some shitty things on YouTube, even to someone like this woman. Um, does that make me hate all of humanity or blame humanity for the evil and suffering in this realm that they did not create? No, it doesn't. So I don't know how some people on my channel get to that point of blaming humanity for a whole bunch of shit that we didn't create. We didn't create this realm. It's not playing the victim. It's not victimhood or preaching victimhood. It's just the truth. Okay? It's just the truth. So we didn't create this realm. And we're not all, quote, human here. We're not all the same. Maybe the ones attacking her were demons, entities. Who knows what they are, but there's a lot of them around these days. So I can relate to her on that. Is what I'm saying. I can relate. So, and some people think I'm an asshole, but I'm actually leaning a little bit more towards sensitive like she is. You know, being an artist and stuff like that should be an indication, but these days nothing is obvious enough to most people. It just isn't.
things. But recently, it's like they're not as unique as they once were, you know? Other people are coming out and talking about things, and I'm discovering hints of things that always seemed strange to me in my, little circle of reality of people that I interact with, and I'm finding out that uh, there are other people in other areas of the world that also have had the same experiences or have been researching this kind of thing for a long time. Like about a year ago when I found Dolores Cannon, and I was like, what? I couldn't even believe it. It was like she was inside my head talking about.
Okay, I have to jump in here. This she made this video 4 years ago. It was around that time that a lot more was coming out and videos were being made. People were opening up about this sort of thing 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So yeah, that's completely true. But when she starts going to Dolores Cannon, I mean, you can look into Dolores Cannon, feel free, but view her with a skeptical mind because she's misled millions. I realize that she's deceased, but her videos and books are still out there, so she's still having an influence on a lot of people and leading them astray. And if you follow Dolores Cannon, chances are you'll be recycled right back here again. It's just the truth, okay? And it might take you weeks, months, or years to come to the realization that I just told you the truth about Dolores Cannon. You might not just snap your fingers and get it and realize what I'm talking about, but you might get it eventually. I still hold out hope for you, okay? Some of you insist on being recycled, though, that come to my channel. You just mock everything. You don't take anything seriously. You don't consider what I'm showing, my perspective. These videos, you don't take it seriously. By all means, laugh it off, until one day you're passing away. And the atheists on my channel are going to get a big surprise. They're the ones that are going to be probably manipulated the very easiest as easy as the most religious, quote, Christians that see a, quote, Jesus figure, okay? An illusion, a mirage, a fake, shapeshifter, hologram, whatever it is. In one sense, it doesn't matter. What matters is the impact that it has on you, what they're using to try to fool you. You might not figure out before you pass away. You might not know, hey, is this a hologram or is this an entity that's shape-shifting in front of me? The main thing is that you know that they're trying to trick you, that it's not real, that it's an illusion, that it's a lie, that it's a fraud, okay, a deception. That's the main thing. Just like the main thing is whatever names you want to give them, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. I'm doing a little skit there. That's something that Kurt Cobain actually said during an interview in the 1990s in Canada on Much Music TV. It was sort of like the Canadian MTV at the time, and I don't even know if that's still around, but anyways, Kurt was pretty hilarious at times in interviews. He's like, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. You know, it's all in the meat. He was saying the meaning of the songs, his lyrics. It's all in the meat. So anyway, never mind. It's just funny to me, but it doesn't matter. That's my point, coming full circle. I am half stoned, by the way, for making this video. I did smoke some earlier, but yeah, I mean, anyway, I'm gonna move forward before talking my freaking head off here and rambling on.
Things that I thought it was just me. And then it turns out there's this whole big group of people that have had the same experiences as I had, and it just blew my mind. I stopped listening to her because I didn't want the things that she says, I didn't want them to contaminate my own personal memories. So,
oh my goodness, she didn't want Dolores Cannon to to contaminate her memories. Isn't that interesting? An interesting choice of words, because I was basically just saying Dolores Cannon will contaminate you and get you recycled back here. I don't think she realized that 4 years ago. Maybe she does now. I don't know how far along this woman, Veronica, I believe her name is. I forgot for a second. Yeah, it is. Veronica Turtleheart is her YouTube channel. So I'm kind of assuming that her name is Veronica, unless it's a completely made up name. But that was interesting, the Dolores Cannon part. So I'm going to skip ahead here and see what I can find.
So, yeah, here I go. You know, honestly, really, what really kind of kicked me in the ass today and made me decide that's it, I'm going to make a video was this morning. I'm in China, and, I've been living in China, and this morning I had my alarm set, and I didn't have to work today, so I just kind of was hitting the snooze button, and I have a song by Four Non Blondes that's set for my ringtone in the mornings. And it's called Pleasantly Blue, and it starts out, every day you wake in the morning, and the words changed, like in between hitting the snooze. Instead of saying every day, it says every time, and I hit snooze like the first 2 or 3 times, and it was every day, and then suddenly it was like every time. And it was it sounded like a different, it was the same person, but the singing was sweeter and less like abrasive. It was more like my ringtone changed. Like, that's the most.
I got to jump in here. She's speaking about the Mandela effect, and that is the way that it works. Okay. I realize there's going to be some people that are unaffected, or you could put it in these terms, that they do not see or do not notice changes in reality. They haven't come across anything that they've noticed yet. Could they possibly in the future? They may. I don't know. Okay? But this is the Mandela effect. It is interesting. And it's interesting that they can be so subtle, but very noticeable to someone that catches on and is observant. That, hey, that one little change can just like make us emotional, or make us just realize, holy shit, this has changed. To us, it hits like a ton of bricks. It's visceral. We feel it in our guts. It's not just, oh, I misremembered that. No, it's not like that at all. It affects us emotionally. Okay? I'm talking about real spirited beings here like me, that actually feel things. I mean, there's some people on my channel that have come here that are like fucking robots. I don't think you feel anything. Or if you do, it's not to the extent that I do. It's on a spectrum where you're at a zero point 0.5 and the scale goes up to a 10 and I can be an 11 or even a 100 at sometimes, But anyway, it is interesting that she's affected and that the song was sweeter. To some people, that would be too subtle of a change for them to even notice it. Okay? There's people that don't notice very much. They don't pay attention. They don't notice things. She does. I do. She's more like me in that respect. I'm not saying our personality is the same or that she's even in the same personality type as I am. It's possible, but I don't know enough about her. But the lyrics changed. One word can change, and that makes a huge difference to us when it hits us. Hey, this has just changed. We notice. We notice subtle changes to reality, whether it's one word or the song is just somehow sweeter. It's not as brash or raw or aggressive or whatever. We notice that shit. Okay, it's easy. It's like second nature to us, and once we catch on, we're on it, and we see these changes all the time. All right. So maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. But if you don't, if you're not affected by the Mandela effect, please don't leave a novel comment that's 3-4 pages, 5 pages long, trying to say that it's not true and all this stuff. Because, it's like, it serves no purpose other than to annoy me. You're basically jumping out and saying, hey, the Sanity machine, I want to annoy the shit out of you. That's all that's going to achieve. It's all it's going to achieve. So I'm just basically saying, hey, don't do that. It's not going to result in anything good. It's not going to change my whole view of reality. It's not going to work. All right? So save it. And I'm going to move on through this.
Most blatant Mandela effect shift that I've experienced, where it happened like right in the moment that it was really strange. And now the song is different. I've been listening to this song since the 90s. I have it set for my ringtone. I listen to it every morning. It's always have been every day. Every morning I wake and it's the song every day. And now it says every time. So anyway, that really shook me this morning out of my reverie of, living in China. I don't, Mandela effects are usually when I'm in the States, where I grew up in my hometown. Then I'll see things here and there all day long, and it's like, it's just irritating the way it's like one thing after another. It's different from the way I remember it to be, and
So again, this was like 4 years ago. Maybe by now she's more used to it. It can be very irritating at first. And this is the bonus part that I was speaking about that's before her pre-birth memories. This is the only part I've watched. It's her Mandela effect change part of her video. I haven't seen her pre-birth memories, so it's going to be new to me. It's going to be a surprise to me, and I'm going to be doing my analysis on the fly where it's just fresh, and it's just straight from whatever I notice.
but in China, everything is unique, everything is different. So I'm not stressed out over so many things on a regular basis because
All right, actually, I'm going to skip forward a bit here.
But anyway, I started feeling like, I gotta, start communicating with other Mandela affected people. And there's been a few Mandela affected people who have asked me recently if I would share my pre-birth experiences. So, all right, we're 5 minutes into the video and I haven't even begun. Sorry, guys. And I'm not going to edit this either because I can't. I don't know how, really. It would. I have a memory of before I was born. When it was time to be born, I was like with a group of people. Spirits, souls, whatever we were. I was with others, and we were getting ready to be born. we were getting ready to come down, and I remember I was like so excited. I was like way psyched. I was like, woohoo, I get to go, I get to go. I was so happy, you know. And I remembered that, you know, I had been on Earth before. One time I remembered. I don't know if that's, I can only say like the way I remembered and the things I was thinking of at that time. Because I remember, I mean, I don't have a big expansive memory of before I was born. I just remember this circumstance. And I remember being frustrated because the time that I was on Earth before, it was really boring, and I didn't get to do anything fun, and I was only a little girl. I died really young, and I was isolated. And I don't know if I was from China or not, but I know I was a little fat Asian girl, and I wasn't allowed exercise, and I couldn't. I don't know if my feet were bound or something, but I couldn't exercise well. I couldn't run around or walk around or dance or whatever. So like, and I always had doctors coming and checking my feet. And the doctors told my family that they had to start letting me go outside and exercise more because I was getting too fat. So anyway, but I remember this. I remember having a past life where I had been, you know, a little Asian girl, and I died at a young age during some kind of a like a firestorm attack where there was like explosions going on all around me, and I ended up getting killed. All right, so
Yeah, I got to jump in here. That's kind of interesting. Her memory of a past life and being Asian and all that stuff that she went through there. But the other thing I wanted to mention was she was overjoyed to come here. She remembers being overjoyed about how she's going to Earth. That there's a possibility that that could be a planted memory, that they could have mind controlled her to make her remember being overjoyed, where maybe in reality she was resisting and not overjoyed. Just a possibility. I'm not saying for certain that I know that. I don't know that. I'm speculating here, and I'm giving some possibilities, including possibilities that I do not see on near-death experience and pre-birth. I don't see a lot of places on YouTube. In fact, some of my perspective I don't see really anyone talking about. And there might be one person, or there might be one or two, okay, there might be, that have covered some of these things. I'm not so sure. And Vince might be one of them, his channel. I haven't gone through all of his recent videos because I've been so busy, but I have wanted to watch those. But he tends to see what I see. He's one of the ones that actually tends to see things not only the way I see it, but the possibilities of mind control and that sort of manipulation that a lot of others don't really go into that deeply. So let's go forward here.
So I was getting ready to come down to Earth again. And I was really enthusiastic about it. I was so excited about it because I mean, I was like, this time it's going to be fun and I'm going to do cool stuff. And I was like, you know, I just couldn't wait to be born. But I was with this group of others who were also coming to be born. And I was definitely the most excited of everyone. Some of them were like really, really scared. Some of them were like dark and didn't want to go at all. And like,
All right, this is really good here, and this is new to me, but maybe it's because her past life was that way. And for one thing, even in this life, it doesn't seem like she's really aware of all the suffering that some on my channel see. Okay, I don't want to name everyone, but you know who you are. The ones that know that this realm is a realm of suffering. You don't even have to watch my God's Plan series. I encourage you to watch them, of course. You might gain something out of watching them. They might be of some value to you, and I hope they are. But you already see that this is a realm of suffering by design. I don't get that impression from this woman, Veronica. I really don't. I think maybe she had a boring life, or she feels it was bored, restricted, didn't live very long, died in childhood, and that's the only life she can remember. So it's a possibility. Maybe she was overjoyed to come here, or maybe that was planted. But if she remembers the ones that were, quote, scared, maybe it's because they know the suffering here. They know how dark it is here. They know there's evil here. They know they could suffer horribly. They could be abused in childhood and all this stuff that happens here. And some people live their lives being so sheltered, they just view that stuff as an abstraction. They've never lived through it. They've never experienced it or suffered it. They don't know what it's like. They don't understand. They don't understand how much there is of that here. And I don't think, as I said, this video is 4 years old. Maybe spiritually she's grown. Maybe her eyes to see have grown beyond just the Mandela effect. Maybe she sees this realm more as it is. But if she doesn't 4 years later, maybe she'll get to see this video and her eyes might open wider to what this realm is and what the reincarnation soul trap is. Because there's a lot of pre-birth memory people that don't realize they're in a soul trap. They don't get that, okay? They don't know about reincarnation or how this stuff could possibly work and how I do, based on the evidence, think that it works, okay? Am I 100% sure? No, but I'm 99.9999. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen enough over the last 5 to 7 years of studying this that I try to keep learning, but I mean, I don't know what it would take at this point to make me believe or sway the other direction that this is something else. I'm as certain about it as a spirit in a meat suit in this realm can be, okay? And this realm is fucked up. It really is fucked up. And I don't expect in this realm to be able to see everything. I expect to be able to see more when I'm outside of this matrix.
Like, they were frustrated about it, and some of them were just kind of like, okay, here we go. But not like me, man. I was like jumping up and down, and I was flying up in the trees, and I was supposed to be like staying with the group because we were going to like some, I don't know if it was like a processing center area or something like that. Okay, we were getting ready to go through like the process right before.
Sorry to jump in this quickly, but I want to comment up before I forget about it. The processing center, I want to point this out for new people that are just getting into watching these NDE analysis videos, which are different than just NDE videos or pre-birth memory videos, like this one. Sorry, I said NDE, but I analyze both. I analyze pre-birth memories when I can find them, but there's a lot more near-death experience videos to analyze. But the processing center comes up in pre-birth sometimes and in near-death. That's what I wanted to get to. Comes up in near-death experience testimonies, and it comes up in some of these pre-birth memories. This processing center. Okay, like what is it? Ellis Island? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? What is this? Does it even make any sense to process spirits this way in a building? Before you're in this material realm, you're in a spiritual, immaterial realm, right? So what the hell? Like, what? Does it make any sense? It doesn't to me. It raises some questions. I'm not saying she's lying. Don't go that direction. I think she's saying what she remembers. I believe her, in other words. If she's watching this video, Veronica, I do believe you. I believe that this is what you remember experiencing. Does it make sense? That's the real question.
Or coming down to earth, okay? And I was supposed to be with this group, but I was just like out of my mind joyful. And and we had like guides that were with us that were supposed to be like keeping track of us, and suddenly one of them came up to me and was like, they want to talk to you. And I was like, really? They want to talk to me? Like, specifically, individually, me? Like, really? Okay. And so we went to this place, and it's not like time the way it is here. It was like we went and I waited till it was my turn, and then I went into this room, and there was like, and they I don't know, I always called them they, which is why it really freaked me out when I heard Dolores Cannon and she was talking about them. And like, I
have to jump in here before I forget to mention the guides. Why would you need guides? Are you in kindergarten before you're born here? And some people would be overjoyed to hear that and say, yes, we are in kindergarten. We're just infantile souls, and they're quick to reduce us, to minimize us, to basically make us small and insignificant. And oh, they know so much more. Some people really love that. They really love being treated like infants. I don't. Okay, I don't know if you can tell that by my videos previous to this one, but I don't. I don't want anything in this realm or in any other realm to treat me like I'm small, insignificant, like I'm a baby, like I'm beneath them, like I'm lower, like I've got 10,000 lifetimes to go through and grow to be like these ascended masters or these spirit guides or these what. No, I don't buy any of that shit. Okay? Do I have to be? I'll try to be as clear as I can. I don't buy that at all. To me, there's no spiritual authorities above us. Okay? And you should be treating things, you should not view anything out there as above you. It's a huge mistake, a huge trap. And the other part was these spirit guides or guides, she didn't call them spirit guides, but she's in a realm before being born into this one, so seems to be a spiritual realm, is what she's speaking about. So these guides took her into a room to talk with her. A room? What kind of realm is this that she's speaking about? We have rooms and buildings on earth. Why would they exist in an immaterial realm, spiritual realm, where you don't have a body? You don't have this meat suit there. Sometimes I have to re-emphasize that because I'll get comments, people saying, of course we're wearing clothes. What else would we have on our bodies? It's like, you're out of your body. I mean, damn. When people say that stuff, it really gets to me. They lack the imagination to even realize you're out of your body. You don't have a meat suit there in that realm. You don't have this. You don't have flesh and blood and bone, okay? You don't have a skeleton.
Okay, but because it's like, I always thought, all my life I was like, is it God? Because it wasn't a he or a she. It was more like a them. So I was in this room and they were arrayed before me, above me. Like I had to look up at them like this. And when they spoke, it was with one voice.
Jumping in just for a second, she has to look up and crane her neck like that. That's for intimidation purposes, that it's towering over her. Just towering over her. Look at her. Look at her position. Just look at the way her body is. Do you know how revealing that body language is and showing, what was going on? And her saying it wasn't a he or a she, it was a them. Well, maybe it was an AI, artificial intelligence, just a projection. Just like they've shown, there's old original series Star Trek episodes with, what's his name? William Shatner as Captain Kirk and Spock. And and the captain before him in the pilot episode, where he's on this realm with aliens using illusions. And it's very similar to this. It might just be something like that. Okay? Could very well be that she was just looking at something completely fake, a projection, a hologram, with a projected voice. And they're using technology. Okay? It's a possibility. I'm not saying that I know that.
And they were concerned. They were like, you need to take this more seriously. They were like, this could go very badly for you. And I was like, but it's gonna go so well the good that I can do is just infinite, and I can't even believe this opportunity I'm being given to do so much good in this world. I was so excited, and they were like, okay, but it could also go really bad. They were like, and they explained some reasons why I can't specifically remember. And I was like, but you'll be there with me the whole time. And they were like, yeah, but it won't really be like that. You won't.
All right, here she comes across as childlike. Again, I haven't seen this until now, so I didn't know this was coming up. I didn't know what she was going to say or do. But she seems very naive and childlike and gullible and malleable and just like a child where you're trying to warn them, don't do that. That's very, very dangerous. And they're too young they're just too young, and they don't have the mind of the mental capacity and reasoning to figure out, yeah, this adult is telling me, my uncle or whoever, if I'm their uncle, I'm telling them something, or if I was their father. I don't have children, that's why I can't say father, and I'm glad I didn't bring any into this realm. I've said that many times. I'm so glad that I trusted, that it worked out this way too. It wasn't just, my decision. But anyway, it's like warning a child that's just too young. They're 3, 4 years old. They don't understand that, hey, if they do that again, it could be seriously injuring. So you have to physically take them away from that. You can't just talk to them and get them to realize it. They're too young. They, no matter which simple way you put it, they're really not going to understand. Even if they listen and don't do it again, it still really doesn't register with them. Oh, okay, this really is dangerous. It could affect the rest of my life if I do that again. Could be really harmed. You could lose your fingers, your hand, whatever they're trying to touch, or you know what I'm saying? Get in the way of, or you're like, no, that's dangerous, but it affects them not to do it again. But they really don't understand why it's dangerous. They don't have enough mental capacity and a mind of reason at that very young age. She almost seems like that to me. She really does. And the way she's going through this, and she's animated and stuff like that, but it is interesting. But it's just like, it's interesting, but I can't relate to her. Maybe I was that way once, and I'm not ruling that out as a possibility, but maybe it was like 10 million years ago, because I'm just not like that, and it's so far away. And I do get excited about things, but it's like, I take things seriously. I just do. I take suffering seriously, okay? I guess that's the main thing I'm trying to get at here. I take suffering seriously. And it's not just warnings about I will suffer if I do something that I don't understand and hurt myself. I take the suffering of others seriously in this realm. Beyond words, beyond what I can say here. And you have no idea. And I know some people think they know me by now, or they maybe emailed me back and forth, stuff like that. But I'm telling you, you still don't know. You don't know what I've seen and what I've personally been through in this realm, and how much suffering I notice of complete strangers, and how it affects me even if I read a comment on one of my videos by someone that watches my channel that is suffering, or somebody that emails me that's suffering through things. It does affect me, okay? That is the way that I am. I am the way that I am. And I don't know if Christians will even pick up on that, but I'm saying something out of your Bible that your quote God said, okay? And you can view that however you want, but I'm not saying I have your whole Bible memorized, and memorization has never been my thing, but sometimes I can quote scriptures that I remember, and sometimes you Christians don't even know your own Bible. For a lot of times you Christians don't know your own Bible. You don't know what's in there beyond basic shit. And anyway, that's another story. But she really seems very young, a young spirit maybe. Maybe that's a possibility. I'm hesitant to say that I believe in that, because for me that's a stretch. But I wonder what the difference is between a spiritual being like her, that's so naive, so gullible, and just doesn't understand the seriousness of suffering, danger, all that kind of stuff, has no idea before she got here, and a spirit like me that's different. She's had a spiritual experience and memory, but she's so different. She might be a different species of spirit. I don't know what it is for sure. Can only speculate. It's not like somebody could say, here's the facts and here's the proof and you're wrong on this. Some people try that shit in the comments on my videos, believe me. Some of them do, and some of them try it a couple times too many, where they get bossy, they get rude, they start name calling and stuff like that. I'm just like, I'm done. You don't belong here. I just get rid of them. But anyway, let's carry on with this video and forget about those toothpaste eaters.
It's not going to be quite like we're there with you, I mean, I can't put it into words the way that they were reasoning with me. And I was like, fuck, I didn't come up with this. This was your idea. I just agreed to it, So that's why sometimes people say that, like.
Just for a second, I'm going to make this short. She said they were trying to reason with her. And I noticed as she was doing the acting, recounting it, I'm not saying she's lying. Okay, don't get it wrong, but she had like a child's voice. She was making herself speak like a child. So she was portraying herself as a spirit in that realm, as being like a child. And it's coming through in her voice and her body language and everything. And I didn't mention, I don't think I mentioned the voice part earlier. I mentioned the body language, but very, very childlike. And that's what is saying she was like before being born here. She was a spirit that way in whatever realm or processing center. I don't know if it was the astral realm where she was. I can't say for certain. But I'm pretty sure it was within this matrix that she's describing. It was a realm within this matrix. Okay?
Like volunteers that came to Earth that we like, or like, I guess I'm one of those because I apparently, I was like, I was in agreement. I agreed that I was going to come. It wasn't like somebody was forcing me. And others that were in the group when I was coming down, the others that were in the group, they weren't coming by choice. Some of them were being forced to, and those ones were like really agitated by my joy. And that's kind of, I think, why they separated me, because I was stressing people.
Holy shit. Now that hits me pretty hard because I didn't know that was coming. And I don't even know exactly what to say about that. But that's fucking amazing. You know, use my French, but it's not really French, but damn, I don't even know what to say about that. I don't think I've heard it. I think this is the first pre-birth experience that I've ever come across where somebody has come right out and said other spirits were forced here. Wow, that is fucking incredible that I just found this in this her video and that she has that in it. I got to pause this for a second. Okay, I'm back. I don't want to fall prey to confirmation bias, but what she said about spirits being forced here, that were there with her, does match up with my belief about what I feel happened to me and to others. So I'm going to replay that again because it's just so important as far as I'm concerned, and it's so it's not it's shocking in a way because it's like proof of, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty amazing. That's the way I look at it.
It was your idea. I just agreed to it, So that's why sometimes people say that like volunteers that came to Earth that we like, or like, I guess I'm one of those because I apparently, I was like, I was in agreement. I agreed that I was going to come. It wasn't like somebody was forcing me. And others that were in the group when I was coming down, the others that were in the group, they weren't coming by choice. Some of them were being forced to, and those ones were like really agitated by my joy. And that's kind of, I think, why they separated me, because I was stressing people out. Or they weren't people yet, but like, they were stressed out about my excitement, and that they were really scared and didn't want to come at all, and they were being forced. Or like they didn't have a choice. It's not like they were being forced because they were walking. They weren't like in chains or anything. They weren't walking, but they were moving forward of their own volition. We weren't bodies. I don't know. I can't explain that part, but but
Just jumping in for a second, I'm trying to go beyond that. They were forced, moving with their own volition. We weren't bodies. Okay, you weren't bodies, but why were there buildings and rooms there? What's the point of that? You know what I'm saying? Like something fishy, not about her story. I do believe her. I believe she's being genuine, saying what she remembered. But there's something very strange about that realm. Very, very strange. About not only this realm she was in, but other people have described the same thing, instead of in pre-birth memories, in near-death experiences. And others in between lives. I mean, what are the buildings? What are the rooms? What are the processing centers? What is this alien shit that's going on,
anyway, so sometimes I've heard stories of like that. Oh, we chose our eye color and we chose our race and we chose our families and yada yada yada. And it wasn't like that for me, because I feel like that they had a specific course. It's kind of like when a director has a script written, and they say, like they need people to fulfill each role. So like I volunteered to fulfill this particular role and to meet certain requirements that were needed to be met. And
Okay, gotta jump in again. I've been telling people for years that it's very complex. This realm and the other realms within this matrix. It's not simple. If you want to understand this, and I'm being stern, I'm not angry, but if you want to understand any part of how this works, or even have a chance of understanding where you are and how to leave, you got to realize that much. It's not as simple as your simple answers that you sometimes give in comments. The people that are brand new that think they have it all figured out, saying we all choose this, we all choose our parent. No, we all don't do anything. I've watched enough near-death experiences and pre-birth memories, videos, and studied them for years, long enough to understand there's major differences. Some say we chose our mom. Harold said that in his pre-birth memories video, which I analyzed, which is on my channel, and I encourage you to watch that one too. Okay, some of them, they say you choose your body and you choose your mom. Some say you choose both parents. Some say they didn't choose their parents, which makes sense, by the way, because if you start really thinking, a lot of us were abused as children by one parent or both parents in various ways. Okay? So don't attack me or anyone else on my channel that went through abuse. I wasn't sexually abused. Some on my channel were. I'll never name them, okay? But they were. We didn't choose our abusers that hurt us physically, mentally, or in some cases with others sexually. I endured physical and mental abuse as a young child and throughout childhood, all the way through high school, okay? All the way through into once I was grown, all right? At least the mental part. The physical part stopped once I was, maybe 15, 16, where I was big enough and strong enough that I wasn't going to be able to be abused physically anymore, where I would just, fight back or I could beat the living shit out of them. You see what I'm saying? So I was already working in a warehouse by the time I was 16 years old. So I was doing manual labor, usually close to 40 hours a week, working. It was still considered part-time, but while in high school. But anyway, enough of that. A lot of us know that we didn't choose to be abused. A lot of women, and I guess boys too, that have been sodaed. I can't say the word, sorry, but it's because of YouTube. It's not because of me. Did not choose that. Did not choose a lot of the suffering. Children that are starving as children didn't choose that. So the ones that say we all chose, you have me at the word all. You already have me shaking my head saying no, back and forth, saying no. Okay, that's wrong. That makes no sense. A lot of us know it makes no sense. A lot of us remember pre-birth, and she remembers pre-birth, seeing people, our spirits forced. So when you're forced, you're not choosing. Okay, you're not choosing. It's not we all. Anyone on my channel has to get beyond that and get out of that stupid habit. Because for one thing, it's offensive to people that have been victimized, that no, we didn't choose this. All right? It's insulting, and it's stupid, and it's illogical. It makes no sense once you start thinking beyond yourself. I'm going to emphasize that more as much as I can. Think beyond yourself to others. Okay, you weren't physically abused or mentally, psychologically abused, gaslit, threatened by a narcissist, all that sorts of stuff. Okay? Or sexually abused, which some on my channel and others that are not on my channel in this realm were. You didn't endure that. Okay? So please take the step to think beyond yourself. And I notice it a lot in comments. Some people, when they talk about suffering, it's only about them. They can't even see it beyond themselves. Okay? You either have a blockage or you lack empathy for others, or I don't know what it is exactly. You're under a spell, maybe? I mean, I could think of a few possibilities, but I'm not handing out excuses or passes and saying it's okay, it's all good, if you don't give a shit about anyone else. So don't take it the wrong way. I'm trying to understand what's going on here. All right? Some of you might have had a charmed and sheltered life where you had it easy, where you really haven't gone through anything devastating or really traumatic in childhood that has scarred you, or, you know, that you had to work through and heal from and take years and decades trying to heal, and you're still not 100%. All right? You haven't gone through that. But the point is, it's not your fault. I'm not blaming you saying that you haven't gone through it. You just don't look at others and say, okay, they went through horrendous shit that they wouldn't have chosen. You just can't seem to do that. And I don't know what's wrong with you, why you can't do that, because it's not hard for me to do it. So I'm wondering, like, how the fuck can't you do that? Why can't you do that? Are you entirely different from me? As a species, as a being? Am I a complete alien to you? Because the way you come across, like, you don't even look at the suffering of others. And if you do, it's so vague, and it's just like, oh yeah, there's homeless and there's wars. But, you know, that's not really seeing it, okay? It's just making a vague blanket statement and generalizing. It's just this foggy view. It's like you don't take a look at, you know, one or two people that are just fucking suffering, horrendous suffering here, you know, in this lifetime that they would not have chosen. So if you don't do that, I'll put it this way, and it's sickening in a way, because some people need to do this. They need to have some self-interest to even motivate them to see it. But if you don't get to that point where you see the suffering, that this is a realm of suffering by design, I hate to break it to you, but in my view, this is not a threat, this is not a wish, but in my view, you'll get recycled right back here. Because you're just primed to be duped as soon as you leave your body during death by whatever comes to you. Because you don't see what this place is. So they can just use that against you because you don't see the suffering of others here. All right? So maybe it's even in your best interest to start noticing this stuff. Start taking it seriously, looking at it, thinking about it, letting it into you, into your heart, and saying, oh my God. And maybe once it hits you that you're in a realm of horrendous suffering, maybe it'll break you down, make you broke down, like, it might make you break down to tears if it really hits you what's going on and you really see it and feel it finally for once in your life. Because I do believe I notice some on my channel that do not see it. They haven't been through it. They haven't been through the fucking meat grinder here like some of us have. I'm not saying I have it the worst. I'm not crying victim. I know people right on my channel that, in my humble opinion, have gone through, endured worse things than I have. And some of my experiences I've told to people, including like doctors and stuff like that, and they just were speechless. They couldn't say anything for a moment because it hit them. But I'm used to it now, like where it almost like seems like normal, if you see what I'm saying. I don't think what I went through is the worst, because I have heard worse. All right? And I don't have deaf ears, and I don't have blind eyes. And as much as I hate to say it, there's people that show up on my channel that definitely do. You really do. You don't see this realm as it is. You've got blinders on, or blinkers, as they told me. I couldn't remember it in a previous video, but it's blinkers in the United Kingdom, the UK. So yeah, you've got those on. You got those on. And a lot of you can't see. You can't look, man. You can't give the singer something. Give a little look. But you can't trying to do what say something that Jim Morrison was saying in a live concert. I have to break it up with a little bit of comedy because I'm getting so dark, and I'll just get fucking depressed about it. I'll really get down about it. But there are people that I can see on my channel that really can't see much beyond their own health, their own life, their own whatever they've been through in life, illness or whatever, beyond their doorstep. They think everybody else that suffers is their own choice, and they did it to themselves. And I mean, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It's not even close to the truth, you know. And there's a lot in this realm that we don't choose. That we don't choose. That's done to us by others that we're born with, that we're genetically programmed to suffer. Like, it's a sick realm. It's a sick realm of evil and suffering. So some people will turn that around in their head right away. So he's saying he doesn't see beauty or smile or laugh or feel joy. No, I'm not saying that. You're hearing stuff that I'm not saying then. And there are some that do that have tried to put words in my mouth and say I said things that I never said. You can replay the whole video. I'm not saying there's no beauty here. I see beauty here, man. Look at my photographs and my artwork. Where do you think that comes from? You know? A little. You got to think a little. But you don't smile, or you don't laugh, or you don't joke. No, I make parody videos. I see comedy. I can make things into comedy here. I can smile. I can joke. I can laugh. I can try to make others laugh. Sometimes I'm watching a fucking YouTube video. I break up laughing where I have to stop the video. I can't even carry on. Like, it'd just be, people just think this guy's nuts. He's been laughing for like 3 minutes straight. He's gone into a laughing fit and he can't stop because he's watching ridiculous new age shit that's just unbelievable. It's in the simplicity and the meaninglessness of it, and people add this profound meaning onto it that just isn't there. Okay, it just isn't there with the robot AI voice and everything else. The whole thing is comedy, which just makes me break up, and I'm almost rolling off the fucking couch or out of bed when I'm making these 3 a.m. videos, and I'm just laughing my ass off because it's hilarious to me. And I do see the ridiculousness, the comedy, how some stuff is just stupid as shit here. I mean, it's beyond words. I mean, it really is. But see what you don't see. I see the evil, the suffering, the design, man. The suffering by design, how it's built into this system. It's no accident. It's not original, quote, original sin. It's not that. That doesn't explain it. That's nonsense. It's nonsense to blame the innocent. Okay? How dare you blame babies for the diseases they get that cripple them, that make them suffer, stop them from walking, and end their lives at a young age? How dare you do that? How dare you do that? Because you're not seeing this realm truly. You think that I'm not, but you're not seeing it. You're not seeing all of what I see. You might see some of it, but you have major blind spots. How do I know? It's noticeable to me. It's noticeable. It's as noticeable as if I was riding shotgun as a passenger and you're driving the car and you keep cutting people off because you're not checking your blind spot. And we're driving down the highway and we're traveling fast, but we've almost been in 3 fucking accidents of people almost sideswiping or rear-ending us. Because whenever you change lanes, you're not checking your blind spots. And I'm saying, hey, you got blind spots, and you're shaking your head. No, I don't. No, I don't. You're in denial. That's how obvious it is. That's how obvious. It's just so obvious. I can notice people's blind spots easily like that. You're not fooling me when you say you don't have blind spots, because I can see that you do. You have work to do. That's not an attack. That's actually helpful advice. If you were wise and smart, you really would take that advice, because it helps you if you do the work. It doesn't help me, really. Actually, I take that back a little bit. It helps me a little bit with your comments here. If you did the work and you went through it and you stopped leaving these stupid argumentative comments about things that you don't quite see yet, okay? Zip it. Just, hold your tongue a little while. Might have to hold it for months or a year. I don't know how long. I can't predict. But you might see what I see eventually about this realm if you really start looking instead of arguing. Instead of arguing, man, take a good look. Take a good look at some of my God's Plan videos and try to blame humans for that stuff. Because you can't. It's not about free will or choices. It's not about, I'll repeat that. That suffering and destruction in those God's Plan videos are not about people's free will or free choices. Suffering by design of this realm. Okay? You've got to watch those and let that sink in before you argue. Anyways, I'm going to move forward. I could rant about that stuff all night long. And yeah, I mean, If you're here to learn, awesome. If you're not, don't even bother commenting. Just don't bother.
To do certain things that needed to be done. Like they had to have someone come and be me, and I agreed. I said yes, I'll do that. And so like when I'm in front of them, I'm in this room and I'm in front of them, and I'm like, I didn't freaking. I'm trying not to swear in this video. Like, I didn't make this up. I didn't say I wanted to face these challenges. You offered this to me, and I just said yes, I'll do it. And I was like, and that was when I said, and you'll be there with me the whole time. And when I said you'll be there with me the whole time, that was when they were like, okay. And then they like decided they were gonna have a separate conversation away from me. So the guide that was guiding me said, okay, come here. We will wait for their decision. And we went off into a place. I mean, it was just darkness. I don't know how long I was there, but the guide was with me, and I don't know how long it was that I was there waiting, because I didn't. It wasn't like here where when they put you in a waiting room, you're like dum dum dum, and you're waiting and you're impatient and you just, it wasn't like that. It was just, existing, and then suddenly there was vision again, and I couldn't even understand what was said. Like, I couldn't understand what was said. I was there before them again, and they interacted with my guide. And it was very fast, and then my guide was like, "Okay, come on," and it was like really fast. That all of a sudden that they were like, the guide was like, it's time to go. And I was like, what are we? And they were like, you're going. And I was like, I'm going? Okay. And then
I just have to break this up and jump in here and just say that she assumed they would be with her here the whole time and be no problem or whatever. And they were basically, seems like they were meeting to say, should we tell her no? Should we just come out and say, we're not going to be helping you. We're not going to be with you. You're going to be on your own, which is the way we are. And that might hurt some feelings, or, might upset some people to hear that on my channel. I'm sure there's a huge group of people, there might be hundreds here, that realize, okay, yeah, I get it. He's right. We are on our own here. When we pass away, we're on our own too. I'm not going to be there holding anyone's hand once you're out of your body. Even if I was holding your hand and I care about you and I'm there with you, you're a loved one when you're passing away. Once you're out of your body, I'm not going to be with you to help you. I wish I could. It's not that I don't wish I could. I wish I could. That's the way I am. That's the way I am wired. I am a warrior that would fight to protect you if I could. Even though I know you have to do that yourself. Okay? I've stepped in situations in life to protect people that I wasn't even that close to, that needed my help. And I've done it, all right? That's not the point. The point is, we all, quote, die alone, you could say. Death isn't what they teach us, but when you leave your body, you're on your own. Even if your bedside could be surrounded, you could be in a hospice or at home in your bed, be surrounded by people that care about you and that you love and all that stuff. You're still on your own, though. This is an individual journey when you leave your body and you're going through that. So this is a pre-birth memories video, but she wasn't really told, hey, you're going to be on your own down there in that realm. We're not going to be holding your hand. We're not going to be with you. They didn't come out and tell her that. She just kept assuming, hey, you're going to be with me. And then they had that meeting. So that's interesting to me. Like, I don't expect them to just tell her the truth and say, hey, we're not going to be with you. We're going to be here still. You're going to be down there in that fucking hell realm, okay? I don't expect them to come out and tell her that, But she strikes me as the type, she's aware of the Mandela effect. I don't know, this was 4 years ago. Maybe she's way more aware now than back then. But she doesn't seem to be the type that really understands where she is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I took her aside those 4 years ago, right the day that she filmed this video, and said to her, do you know that this is a realm of suffering by design? I bet she'd shake her head and disagree and say, no, I don't think so at all. I see beauty here, and it just go into the same script. It's just the same script that the people say. Oh, well, you just don't see the beauty. Don't you see the sunset? They assume that we don't see. They're assumptions. They're assumption makers. She did that in her pre-birth before she got here. She assumed these entities or entities. Some people like that one. Some people don't deal with it. Okay. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm from the generation of just deal with it. You know, we were the kids that were, our moms and dads weren't home when we got home from school. You know, either we were on our own as latchkey kids with the key taken to school, or bust and taken to school and bus to school and with the key and everything else. Latchkey kids, first generation like that. The boomers weren't like that, or we had babysitters, but we were more like figure it out and deal with it. So maybe she's from my generation, but wow, she seems pretty naive and gullible and just childlike. And I don't know how she was raised. It must be entirely differently from the way I was raised. Good for her, though, if she didn't suffer some of the things I did. I'm happy for her.
I just went. and the thing is that I never went back to the processing place. Like, I never went back to, like, I think that's why but I mean, now after the fact that I've thought about it a lot, and after knowing about Dolores Cannon and what she said, I came to this conclusion, and after that I stopped listening to her because I don't want to come to any more conclusions from the things she says. But my conclusion is that because I didn't go through the normal processing, that's why I remember that. That's my guess. That's why I remember.
That's actually a pretty good guess. I cringe every time she says Dolores Cannon for many reasons. Some people won't understand that. They'll be commenting. I already know that'll be coming. It's fine to be curious, but man, I shouldn't have to tell you what Dolores Cannon is. If you study this stuff, if you're brand new, then I understand. It's understandable that you'd have heard of the name Dolores Cannon, or maybe you just don't get it. You don't quite see through her yet, if you see what I'm saying. But for those that have been studying this stuff for years, I do expect you should be able to see that on your own. I shouldn't have to say what Dolores Cannon is, what I see. It should be all in your own discernment. You should be able to do that. It should be automatic to you. It should be, as natural to you as getting up and walking if you are not disabled. Okay? Seriously, it should be. I shouldn't have to say anything. I shouldn't have to tell you Dolores Cannon's this. You should be able to do all that on your own. And I want you to be able to do that on your own. I'm not going to be there. So even if I can tell you stuff in this realm and see stuff and say that, yeah, this is what I see, you're going to have to do this on your own. Right? It's an individual journey. So, also another thing, do you notice she doesn't say that she was with, quote, family, loved ones, anyone that she knew at this, quote, processing center, or coming here with her? Like, she wasn't coming with a sister, brother, best friend, or, who knows? Like, I mean, there's not even time. Time doesn't work the same way there, they always say. So, and time isn't a straight line. So, I don't know. You get what I'm saying, though? Like, it even seems to be, all these pre-birth memories seem to be an individual journey before you incarnate here on Earth, and you're there in the realm, in the processing center area before here. So she was just on her own there, individual. So you should expect that. I don't think that's all bullshit. I think she did come here on her own.
The decision-making process and coming straight, because I came straight from that room with them to be born on Earth and be alive. So anyway, yeah, that's my pre-birth memory. I've got so much more weird stuff in my life. Maybe eventually I'll talk to you all about that stuff too. But I think that's enough for today. All right. Later, guys.
All right. I'm jumping in here again. I'm going to end this soon, but it's interesting to me. I would like to hear from Veronica, the woman who made this video and shared her pre-birth memories. I want to reiterate that I do believe you, Veronica. I do believe that's what you experienced. I'm not bashing you. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm not calling you crazy, delusional, whatever you've heard probably from other people. All right? I'm sure if I made a video like this, there would be 10 comments in the first hour or two like that. Pretty easily. um, making accusations, because there's accusations every day, regardless, that make no sense. A comment disappears that YouTube removes, and people will say, "You removed my comment, you're an agent." They jump to conclusions like that. So they're just gone from my channel. You do that shit, I don't need you. But anyway, I would like to hear from her. I do believe her. I do believe that this is what she remembers. These are her pre-birth memories. I wonder how far along she's come in 4 years, if she's looked into this topic and thought about it and looked into videos that analyze it. Because there's a big difference between watching more pre-birth memory videos on YouTube like hers done by other people and watching a video like mine. I'm not boasting, but mine analyzes it and dissects it. These are just giving what they remember. There's no stepping back and saying, well, that's weird. There's a building, there's a room. Why would there be a physical building in a realm that's not physical, that's spiritual, an immaterial realm? What's the material, the matter doing there? Get what I'm saying? So they tend not to do that. She didn't really mention robes or clothing, but what's that about in all the other ones? Very common. So what's all that about? Anyway, I wanted to touch on something else before I forget. I realize this is going on. I hope you're enjoying it, though. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now. Okay, I'm back. I paused it for like maybe 30 seconds to a minute. There might have been a glitch in their system, a glitch in the matrix, where they make a mistake and she didn't get processed properly, and that's kind of her theory. And that kind of would make sense, because there's also in near-death experiences where there seems to be a glitch or a screw-up, where somebody shows up there and they're surprised and going, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be in here or back here," or, they just show up and they take these entities or aliens or whatever they are. I don't care if you call them archons or creatures or AI projections or shapeshifters or whatever name. The name doesn't matter, because there's people in this, quote, soul trap community, end quote, that use all kinds of terms. Okay, all kinds of names. But we're really essentially talking about the same thing pretty much, right? We're talking about whatever creatures are there, entities, whatever, if it's an AI projection, whatever it is that they see. So it seems to be an imperfect matrix. Not perfect, imperfect. Sometimes my mic doesn't pick that up. That's why I'm repeating it. I'm not being quote condescending, okay? I'm just repeating it because sometimes it won't pick it up and it'll sound like I'm saying perfect when I'm saying imperfect. So anyway, maybe that's the case. Maybe there was a glitch. Maybe they forgot. They are not perfect, whatever is running this, because she did get back here with these memories. She's retained those memories of being there right before she was born, but it's not really much memory. You could condense that down to, minutes of lifetime experience. It's not like she remembers being years between lives or years in this pre-birth, but it's still a lot more in this than a lot of other pre-birth memories. It's less. They have much less memory of the place than she does. So this was a good one. As far as I'm concerned, I found a treasure with this one and doing this one, and it turned out good. And I think there was a glitch and they screwed up. They're not perfect, which, take it however you want. Take it to mean whatever you want when it comes to them screwing up. That's my theory, that they're not perfect, that they do make mistakes. There's people that are so discouraged and so nihilistic on my channel that say, well, if we don't consent, there's no way out, or you're just saying not to do anything, or we're doomed. I have never said that. So where do you extrapolate that? Where do you jump to that conclusion? Please don't do that. Not just on my channel. Get yourself out of that habit for your own sake. It's stupid. It really is, okay? I have to call it what it is. It's stupid. I've never said, oh, because we were forced here that there's no way out. I've never said that. I've never said that. Just like I've never given people false hope or hopium. I'm not at either end of the spectrum. I'm not saying there's no way out. I've never said that. And it's actually insulting when people do that, because you're really not listening to what the fuck I'm saying if you're twisting my words that way. Pay attention better. Teach yourself how to do that if you have to. I'm not kidding. It would serve you well to do that, to teach yourself how to listen better, pay attention better, and not try to put words in someone's mouth of things they've never said in their videos. I've never said to give up. I've never said to be a victim or victimhood. Never said any of this stuff. So to misconstrue my message that much, to misrepresent what I'm saying, to twist it, to put words in my mouth, it's fucking insulting, man. It just is. So don't do that. You know, whoever you are, whoever is trying to do that, don't do that. And learn not to do that, not only with me, but with others. Don't do that. Don't do that. So anyway, that's what I think. That's my interpretation. That's my analysis. And I think I'm going to end this video here. So good night, everyone. Bye.